TPPR's Ring Rundown.
Hello.
Hello.
We're with Martin from Parabolus. It's a Tool cover band, and Martin is the bass player. So we're going to do a rig rundown now and ask him a few questions. So, Martin, you want to tell us a bit about the basses you're going to be using in tonight's show?
I'm using the actually a wall bass that's being used by Justin Chancellor from Tool. This bass is tuned in drop D. Of course, we try to reproduce as much as possible the tone. It has this bass is a very special tone. I have a high pass filter, low pass filter on it. So it's
That's a custom bass?
This is a bass actually. This is 1993.
Okay.
Bought it from someone in Germany.
Cool.
Who was mostly doing jazz music.
Okay.
This type of bass is very common in the UK, British in the 80s, and notoriously been used by Geddy Lee from Rush also. So yeah, it has a special tone to it. Not everyone.
Can I see the wood on the back?
Yeah, not everyone is like it best. Nice. This is a walnut and a maple 5 pieces neck.
Very nice.
So pretty much the jewel of my collection, I would say.
Sweet, man, sweet. So what's the other bass you got?
The other bass is actually a couple of the songs from Tool are in a different tuning. This one is in a drop B with 4 strings. It's a very GDEB, which is a very strange tuning. Unfortunately, beside these songs, I don't play it, so I'm using one of the bass that I would say I have some emotion. I cannot get rid of this bass because it's being built by one of my friends. It's a custom build. As you can see, you don't know if you noticed, all are left-handed.
That's right, yes.
Yeah, so being left-handed, the choice is pretty much the Fender Precision on the wall amongst the hundreds of other right-handed, or you have a custom one. That's pretty much the only choice that. So this one is it's a passive bass. Of course, I need to make a few setup on my sounds in order to get the right signal level of signal when I play. So, like I said, it's being done with one of my friend.
Nice.
He was amateur luthier, starting luthier. So I'm very glad I supported him. I actually asked him to put his name on the neck, but he felt like a fraud at the time he did it because he was doing his class at the time.
Okay.
So, but I can't get rid of it.
That's cool. Two nice basses there.
Yeah. So
from this, we were saying, let's see those tone fingers.
yeah, actually. Playing most of the song with a pick. Actually, everyone from the set list tonight will be playing with a pick. I'm using those a very small hand, and I don't like the large grip, so I'm using the Dunlop, the short grip, small triangle, the 0.88 millimeters. For me, allow me to get the small grit, the small scraping on the strings that allow me to get closer to the sound. Of course, the picking is very hard. Personally, I like to play with fingers, but unfortunately, Tool doesn't. So
now let's check out this monster pedal board that you got here. You got a pretty
It's actually as funny as it looks. My tone is this bass, the wall bass. This is pretty much most of the tone is coming from here. This one is mostly like creating different sound, mostly modulation, and also the signal is being split into a clean and dirt signal.
So your signal's going in.
Yeah,
there? Okay.
signal is going here. This is going to the bass. From the bass heading to the tuner. Okay. I'm using a compressor for several songs, but this compressor is not being used on all the songs because everything which is a little bit is more strumming, pretty picking hard. I use that mostly for balancing the sounds. And from there, I'm going into this LS Selector, which is basically keeping everything here into the loop. And all those pedals are in one-way modulation, starting with the Tremolo. Okay. It's in a vintage tube Tremolo. Very nice, using on a couple songs, so I really like this. Heading into the bass Whammy, I would say the signature sound that for many songs from Tool. Now heading to the Sansamp GT2. Many will say it's a guitar distortion pedal, but the bass on Tool is on a very high register, so this one becomes a little bit more. From there, we're heading into those modulation. The classic, as you see, there's a lot of Boss pedal on this. You can't go wrong with Boss. They're rugged. You can stomp. You can throw them, and
yeah, pretty much you're built like a tank.
Exactly. So I have my C chorus Ensemble, the Flanger. I have a delay. Heading into another delay.
It's a DD3?
It's a DD3.
Okay.
And heading into another delay, which is the one as a special guest because it cut the sound right away. It's a Providence Chrono delay. Cool. So it's a very tight. I really like this one. Some will prefer the Strymon, but I prefer the Providence. Okay. And because I'm lazy and I had the money, I had the space on my rigs, I had another DD3
okay.
because it had a different setting than this one. So it's laziness here. I could just basically turn a few knobs, but
yeah, but when you're doing live, you don't want to mess with the knobs and stuff.
Exactly.
Like that,
so this is pretty much why I kept that. Going to the Wahl rocker.
Okay.
From the Wahl rocker, I'm going into micro amp because this pedal here is losing a lot of volume when used. It's a very vintage. You can see Guyatone.
So you're using that to boost back your level back to normal, basically.
That's correct. That's correct. Exactly.
Okay.
I'm using the Fuzz.
That is a sweet Fuzz, a tone bender. Let's get a good look at this.
Yeah, this is a refurbish. The enclosure is a refurbish. The electronics is vintage.
Okay.
Macaris have put some in line. They added some on the wall, and they added the old enclosure, so they put the old one. So it has the old transistor. So it's a vintage. This one is not really cheap, but it's a. I'm a Justin Chandler fanboy, so this is why I have it. So that's pretty much it.
That's honestly, that's a really nice.
The sound on this is surprisingly good. Honestly, it's surprisingly good. We played that using it on a couple of songs. This is my latest on my billboard.
Crybaby.
It's the signature Crybaby Justin Chancellor. As you can see, it takes a lot of estates.
Yeah, it takes a lot of real estate on the board, man.
Going from there, I'm going out.
Going out, okay.
So this one is going into my radial here, and from the radial engineer, as you see the red, going to the red, yeah. And from here I'm going to the clean to my first amp. This is what I would call my clean amp. So my clean amp is being driving a 4x10 Mesa Powerhouse, okay. And the other signal is going back to my pedal board. Yep, my signal is going back here, and now it's getting into the rat. This is a special modded rat. Especially modded for bass. The major difference on it is at 3 level of distortion. So you can have on this wheel-batted standard rat that everyone is using. I'm using the turbo on this one, and they added a little blend here. As you can see, there's a small blend. So I'm using a full blend because, as you know, the rat can be very gritty. I'm using the bass EQ here because the rat is losing a lot of low end.
Adding the low end.
Yes, I'm adding the low end back. Basically, I'm not doing more. I'm just balancing things out. Okay. And then from there, it's going back to the blue into my second amp. Both are Mesa Carbine, and I'm using a 212 Zabugi Powerhouse, same brand. The signal I sent to the front of the house is to mic. These are IL PR40. Both are similar, different color, special edition, but they're the same. Okay. And I'm sending a third signal, which is my DI coming from a bass preamp Demeter. Okay. And from the bass Demeter, this is what the soundman is using to balance the sound, add some presence, depending on the room. So make sure I'm not lost in the mix.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Thank you for coming in.
Thanks, Martin. Appreciate it.
Sure, man.